Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for coming along to our June supplier welcome session. Now, Audrey, you're going to turn the slides for me, are you?
Certainly am. You ready to go?
Excellent. Let's do it. So first of all, we're going to start off with doing some introductions. Who are we? My name is Emma Peters. I am the Head of Engagement for Local Buy. I'm also joined by Audrey Dobell, who is our Senior Engagement Manager based in Cairns. Audrey predominantly looks after our Indigenous councils up the Cape and a few of the councils surrounding Cairns. We are also potentially joined, I can't see him here, Audrey, but you can, by Jeremy Walker, our Senior Engagement Manager who is based in Brisbane and looks after predominantly our western or southwestern shires and all the way up to Livingston Council on the coast. And Liz McFarlane, our Senior Engagement Manager who looks after Southeast Queensland Council. She's got all the biggies in there, apart from Brisbane who belong to Jeremy. Oh, and I look after the northern section of Queensland in terms of working with our councils to encourage them to understand and to use local buy as much as possible. So you're on your way to becoming a pre-qualified supplier, which is why you've been invited to our webinar this afternoon. So what we're going to cover off in the session today is who is local buy, who our buyers are, because it's not just local government. We're going to talk about that in a bit more detail. All of the numerous benefits of being a local buy pre-qualified supplier, your obligations, how to market your business, and what we do to help you in terms of marketing of local buy, and how to set up your profile so you're fully visible to all of our customers. So first of all, let's start off with the who we are. Well, Local Buy is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Local Government Association of Queensland. We were created in 2001 to assist councils streamline procurement. Now, we're going to talk about a little bit about why councils need assistance streamlining procurement in a moment. But that means created in 2001 means we're turning 25 years old next year, which is an amazing achievement. We are a profit for purpose organisation. That means any profit that we make over and above our operating costs is returned to our owner, the LGAQ, who use the funds to provide member services to Queensland councils. And for any of our Northern Territory friends that are joining us this afternoon, we also provide procurement solutions for the Northern Territory Council. So we work in partnership with Legant, the Local Government Association of the Northern Territory, who can access our local buy pre-qualified supplier arrangements in the territory. So why do councils need assistance with procurement? Well, as a council officer, you can't just go out and buy stuff on behalf of your council. There are some rules and regulations set down in two distinct pieces of legislation. The first that we're going to cover is the Local Government Regulation 2012 and the default contracting procedures. So they say if you're going out to buy goods and services between $15,000 and $200,000, you must obtain 3 written quotes. If you're going out to enter into a contract or spend more than $200,000, you must perform a full and open market tender. Now, these are the Northern Territory thresholds. We don't like to leave the NT out of anything. We want to make sure that we're covering off their legislation as well, which is slightly different than Queensland's in that their written tenders, their public tender threshold actually kicks in at $150,000 as opposed to the $200,000 here in Queensland. Now, these totals, these thresholds, they're actually accumulative for the life of a contract or a financial year with a supplier for similar goods or services. Now, I can see, and Audrey's going to kick my butt for this because I always forget to do it. And she's giggling because she knows what I'm going to say. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please do pop them in the Q&A portal, which is in the bottom section of your Zoom toolbar here. We will be delighted to answer those questions either as we go through the presentation, or we'll answer them live if we think it's something that everybody needs to hear at the end. I'm so sorry, Audrey.
That's okay, but we will answer the one that popped in right now, just to
Okay.
let everybody know, and that is yes, you will be provided a copy of this presentation.
Yes. So our marketing team will actually download and upload this presentation to YouTube. It does take a couple of days for them to get that through that workload, and then you will be sent a whole bunch of resources, which include the slides and the recording and the local by logo and all that good stuff afterwards. So let's go back to my lecture in local government legislation after I failed to do the proper housekeeping part at the beginning of the webinar again. So let's talk about the other piece of legislation that councils need to adhere to, which is called the Local Government Act. And that specifically concerning procurement talks about the 5 sound contracting principles, of which one of them is value for money. Also, open, effective competition, development of competitive local business, environmental protection and ethical behaviour, and fair dealing. So, how does local buy fit into all of this? Now that you know all about local government legislation and what the councils need to do when they're going out to procure. So, let's talk a little bit about tenders to start with. Now, full and open tenders are very arduous for councils and for suppliers to respond to. So, full and open tenders have to be open publicly for a full 21 days. And there's a lots of paperwork to put them together and contracts that they're going to use to engage the supplier. Well, if a council or another entity that's using local buy engages a supplier through a local buy pre-qualified supplier arrangement, they do not need to do a tender regardless of the threshold of how much they're spending. So they could be spending up to $100 million. If they're doing it through local buy, they do not need to perform a tender. Now, they may well go through a request for quote process, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that in just a moment. But if they're using local buy, they do not need to do a full and open tender. Let's talk a little bit about the other organisations that can use local buy. So we were set up originally way back in 2001 to assist councils streamline procurement because of the rigorousness of the local government regulation that they have to adhere to. But some other entities have figured out that our pre qualified supplier arrangements are pretty good and have jumped on board and started using them also. And essentially, any non for profit organisation can utilise local buy. They need to come to us and say, please, can we use local buy, and have approval to do so. But we welcome local government entities, Queensland, state, and federal. Government departments, government owned corporations, water authorities, port authorities, charities, and not for profits. And lots of schools and universities are already using local buy. And I'm going to go through some statistics in a moment, which will show you the amount of non local government clients that are now using local buy as well. So here are some of those key achievements. Now, this was from last financial year. We are coming nearly, what are we in now? June. We're coming to the end of this financial year. So these statistics are going to change. Local Buy currently has 51 pre-qualified supplier arrangements, and we're going to go through those arrangements in just one moment. Now, every council in Queensland uses Local Buy in some way, shape, or form. Some a lot, and some not so much. But last financial year, every single council used local buy throughout that financial year. Now, we have 279 different organisations using local buy. Now, if you bear in mind, there are 77 councils in Queensland and 17 in the Northern Territory, that non-local government sector is really, really growing. And last year, $930 million was procured through local buy pre-qualified supplier arrangements. So you may already be aware of this, but Local Buy is the only organisation who provides procurement services that allow suppliers to come on so frequently. So we have a version of Local Buy in each state around Australia, apart from the Northern Territory, because we work really closely with the NT to provide them procurement solutions. But you are able to apply to become a local buy pre-qualified supplier through the tender process once a quarter. So we open our tenders up, and the majority of them are opened up each quarter on the 1st of February, the 1st of May, the 1st of August, and the 1st of November. It means that local buy can be super agile when it comes to bringing on new suppliers that our local government um, customers really want to have on local buy. So, am I passing across to you here, Audrey?
Absolutely.
Excellent, because sometimes I just keep going. I'm
You
very
do, you
rogue,
do.
aren't
Nope,
I?
at the halfway mark, so thank you. Welcome, everyone. On the screen now, you can see what is required before you become visible to our buyers, as Emma has been taking you through. If applicable, your verification fee payment needs to be paid before we make you live on our list. So that means in vendor panel where our buyers will see you, and also within the arrangement itself. To do that, you also need to accept your vendor panel invitation. That will also allow you to go live on vendor panel. We'll go into more of what that looks like in a moment. And also then go in and upload your compliances and your insurances and have them verified by us. If you're finding you're not showing on vendor panel yet, please get in contact with us because it could be one of these 3 steps that has been missing in your onboarding process. Once you are active and visible to our buyers, there's 2 ways that they can interact with you. One is direct, and that's where they approach you directly and have a conversation. It might be through email, over the phone, it might be a connection and a relationship you already have, or it will be through the vendor panel portal. When it comes direct, it may not be very clear if it is actually through the local buy arrangement, so please always ask the question in your conversation if it's not clear to you at that time. If it does come to you through vendor panel, it will be very clear as to how you are being engaged and the arrangement you are being engaged under. So vendor panel, it is the preferred way that our buyers will engage you. As Emma has shown you the statistics, many of our interactions are happening through the vendor panel platform. And on there, you're going to have what we call your shop front window or your business profile, you'll know it as within vendor panel. It's a great place for you to promote and manage your business to our buyers. You also will need to set up your colleagues in there, and that's just in case you have different departments within the state. So you might be based in Brisbane, but you'll have an office maybe up here in Cairns or Townsville, where Emma is. And if you add them as colleagues and pop their address in, all councils will be able to see where you are located when they're searching, especially by postcode. You will come up in their search parameter. So really important that you are putting as much information on that business profile as possible so you are becoming visible.
And Audrey, I'm going to interject at that point,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you have an office in the Northern Territory. So, our Northern Territory customers, if they search geographically and say, hey, I want to choose someone who has an office in the Northern Territory, and you do have a branch there, make sure that colleague is in the vendor panel system. So, when the council search for Northern Territory based, they can find you.
Thanks, Emma. Yeah, so for a bit of clarity around that, you'll have a primary address, which is generally your head office. And when you add more colleagues to your profile, you can add the address of where they are based. So therefore you do come up in that postcode search. So always add as many offices as what you do have there under individual names. You'll also be able to respond to your requests for quotes or your RFQs you receive from the buyers through the system. You'll also ask questions through the system as well. So vendor panel has a little portal area where if you've got any questions about the RFQ you received, you will have that conversation on the platform. It will be a public platform. Everybody will see your question and everybody will see the answer as well. You will also receive your notifications if you have been successful or not through that system as well. So it's a one-stop tool. So we do say that you make yourself a little bit of a routine where you are checking that on a weekly basis, bare minimum. Maybe 2 or 3 times is probably more realistic, because you never know when an RFQ is going to come through, and you don't know, as Emma has explained, it's not a tender process. It may only go out for 5 days. It may go out for 7 days, because it does not need to go out for 21 days. So be checking your vendor panel profile on a regular basis, and always make sure that your contact details are up to date, because a council might want to reach out and have a conversation with you before approaching you. And if you've got the wrong phone number or somebody's left the business, they're not going to be able to get through to you. So a little bit more on vendor panel, because it is really super important that you keep all your details up to date. Please upload your company logo. It sells your business. It's like a shop front. You know, they're going to be able to relate to you if they see your logo. Add your colleagues to your system. Make sure that business profile is up to date and accurate at all times. It's not a just do it once, set it and forget it. You can go in and change it as much as you like. So you can change your business profile identity as much as you need to. Talk about a new job that you've done, make it relatable to the councils that are looking at your work, and make sure that your insurances are up to date. You will be flagged by vendor panel when they are coming up for due and renewal, and you'll need to go in there, upload the new certificate, and then we'll go in and approve it behind that. Anything else on that one, Emma? I see you're
Oh,
nodding.
oh, yes. You know
Yes,
I love to dive in on this one because it's a little bugbear of mine.
the
Um,
last one, yes.
yes, the bottom couple of sentences on this slide is really, really important. So local buy, encourage our council to utilise local buy and through and specifically through vendor panel. So when our customers put out a request for quote to you, that is a business opportunity. Within the vendor panel system, the customers can see if you've read the quote, and you can also in there actually tick if you intend to respond to the quote, or if it's outside your sphere of possibility, it's not in your wheelhouse, you can actually decline that quote. Now, the customers, our local government officers, they keep an eye on what's going on with their request for quote. So it's really important that you are logging in and you are indicating if you intend to respond or not to respond to that quote. Then, if a customer pops out a request for quote that's a tricky project and it's got a really short time scale, and after 3 days, all of the suppliers said, nah, we can't possibly do this, then the council knows that they have an issue and they are available to go, okay, something's going on, this specification may be too big for the time frame, or there's something not quite right with it, that none of the suppliers are able to fulfill that particular project. So please do log in when you see that come through from no reply at vendorpanel.com. Please pop into vendor panel and have a read of the quote. Also, as Audrey said, it's not a full and open tender. They may have only given you 5 days to respond. So make sure when you see that alert come through that you're popping straight in and having a read. And if you're definitely out straight away, decline the quote.
So a question's popped through while you've been discussing that one, Emma, and we'll answer it while we're here and talking about the subject. Yes, you will get a notification that you've had an RFQ presented to you. It will come in the form of a no reply email from vendor panel. So please check your junk folder, because it often does land there because it's generic and it's no reply. You may want to change those parameters within your inbox. But that's why we're saying set up that routine to go to your homepage once, twice, 3 times a week and check what's come through, because it will also show on your homepage. Don't rely on that email alert coming through. Be checking your homepage, and it's very visible on the front of your homepage that you have received a request for quote to go into,
Yeah.
and decide what you are doing, like Emma's just taking you through, yes, no, or maybe.
And it will be from that no reply at vendor panel email address. So please do make that a safe sender, because that will alert you. It will alert you when a business opportunity comes through.
Yeah,
Thanks, Ords.
no problem. Now, another platform you're going to use with us here at Local Buy, that is for your monthly reporting. So as soon as your first one is due, which is the 21st of each month, you're going to receive an email from our team, and it will request that you go into our reporting portal. There will be a link. It is hidden behind a few words with an underline. in the first line of the email saying local buy portal. Click on that, add in your details, which will be supplied to you in your first reporting request, and go in and report. Very possibly it might be a nil value for everyone first time around, but you never know. If you have been engaged through vendor panel, you will find that the work is sitting there for you to view, and you can let us know, has that work been completed? Has it been invoiced? And then the value. If you have had direct engagement with a council, you are required to keep your own record keeping. You were asked this question within the tender process of how you were going to do that and what that process looked like for you. So please follow that process and make note of all that direct engagement. And when you pop in, enter it in, who the buyer was and the value. And it takes 2 seconds, especially if it is a nil value, but it is required. We are audited on you completing this each month. So it's super important that this does happen.
And I just want to interject at that this point in time,
Yep.
that it won't come through immediately, depending on when you were appointed to the local by pre-qualified supplier arrangement for the first time. You may not fall into May's to the reporting, which is happening now. It
Mhm.
may actually be that you won't get that email for another 4 weeks, but don't worry, we will let you
Sure.
know when those reports are open. And it is a really important part of being a local by pre-qualified supplier that you do that reporting on a monthly basis. And as Audrey said, not everything comes through vendor panel. Councils can be engaging you direct, so it's really important to make sure you are tracking that spend.
Okay, we'll just go with another question, Emma. I'll get you to answer this one, what you think they should do. So when it comes to the colleagues on your business profile and vendor panel, and you provide a mobile service within Queensland and NT, how do you flag that?
When you we can't do that with a colleague. What would happen is you nominate your service areas. So when you responded to the tender, you said, what areas can you cover? And if you said, yes, I can cover the Northern Territory, we differentiate in two different ways. You either have a physical office in that location or you can service that particular location. So unless you have a human being in that location, you won't be able to add a colleague. But if you say that you can service that area, then you'll be visible to all of the customers who are looking for people who service that particular area.
Yeah, so it'll come up in the filter for regions and the scope of work.
There was actually another monthly reporting question on here. Do we
Just
need to report on those transactions outside of local buy?
no, you do not.
No, if you're engaged by a council outside of local buy,
Nope.
then you do not need to report that to us. No, it's only the engagements that have come through a local buy pre-qualified supplier arrangement. And if it's through vendor panel, it will be very obvious. If it's not through vendor panel, what would generally happen is when they email you the quotation, it will say, we want to engage you through local buy, or keep an eye on the purchase orders because they may quote the local buy arrangement number in the purchase order.
Another question just come through in regards to a supplier being on vendor panel for the past 3 months and having received any RFQs yet. What should they be checking? I think if we continue with this tutorial, it might give some ideas and we can revisit that question at the end, I think. If not, we can also take it offline and have a conversation.
And we can double check that you are definitely live in the system and visible to our suppliers as well.
Absolutely. Okay, so the next part is the important documents. So during the tender process, you were given a folder called supporting documents at the beginning of your tender process. In that document, it contained 3 items which are super important, plus a fourth one you're going to see on the next page. And that was your general conditions of contract, which is a contract between your business and local buy. The specification, which shows the technical information about the arrangement you're participating on, and the purchaser conditions of contract. And this is the contract between you and our buyer, being the council or the government body or non-for-profit. If you didn't retain those or don't have that copy, please let us know. We can happily send it out to you. Within that document folder too, you would have had your supplier code of conduct, which you were asked to read, understand, and make any notes to us within that tender process. So please make sure that document is handy too, and everyone who is participating in the arrangement within your business understands that code of conduct. So marketing, this might help with a couple of the questions that have been coming through. What you can do to promote yourself. So standing out in the crowd. Follow your council on social media, and not just your council, but other councils as well. You might want to target a region to be doing work in. So you can go to neighbouring councils to the council you're currently already participating with and just understand what they're doing and what's happening. Reviewing council minutes is a great way to understand what's in the pipeline and what's also being approved to go to market. May also give you a few contact names as well, just as a tip there, to see who's approving and who's promoting or preparing the documents. As we've gone into quite deeply already, keeping your vendor panel profile up to date is super important. It's relevant. It's where the council is going to go to see everything about you. Develop your relationships with your councils. That can be in many different ways, like attending industry events, promoting yourself to council, connecting with council. And as I just said, attend the industry events. Council put quite a few on, especially during Small Business Month in May. There's lots going on out in the regions. Get involved in your local community. There's lots of connections to be had and understood what is going on in your community and your region by going to all events, not just council events. And as we just said, too, targeting your neighbouring councils to see what else is going on within your region. So what we do to help you. So we use social media quite a bit, as you can see by our QR codes there, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We'd love it if you connected with us on our platform. Send us a little spiel about yourself on your platform, something great that you've done. Tag us in, and then we'll continue to share it through our platforms as well. We do prepare a monthly newsletter which goes out to all council delegates. It's over 5,000 delegates that receive this newsletter on a monthly basis. Once you have had an interaction and an engagement under your local buyer arrangement, we'd love to hear about it and love to put it in our newsletter and showcase it. So please let us know any good news stories there. We will get you to write a story about it and provide some images. So love to get the background to what the images are doing, what's happened, and how you connect it. So if you are in that position, please do let us know, because we're always looking for more articles to pop in that newsletter. There is a team of us who Emma introduced at the beginning of here, plus our contract managers, which are always talking with council delegates. So conversations, engagement, promotion, we let people know when you've come aboard, who's come aboard, what's happening. So there's lots of promotion out there about the arrangements, what's going on, and what we have to offer being new guys. Yes, Emma?
Oh, Audrey loves it when I interject. I just wanted to go back and talk a little bit more about what we do and what we can do and what we can't do. So we as an engagement team, our role is to assist councils grow their spend through local buy. We want more people to be utilising local buy. Our arrangements are all set up with all of you wonderful suppliers, so that is our job. But we cannot promote any one supplier over another. Now, we have to be really, really mindful of that. We have 4,500 suppliers across 51 pre-qualified supplier arrangements, and we can't promote anyone over another. We can promote the arrangement, and we can say this is our amazing recruitment arrangement and these are all the wonderful suppliers on it, but it is down to the council to who they're going to choose to engage with through that arrangement. Now, unfortunately, we would love to do so, but we cannot give you a list of all of the council contacts. We would be up for serious data protection breaches if we did that. So it is, as Audrey was talking about, your responsibility to go and use LinkedIn or do some stalking on the council minutes to go and find out who the key contacts in the councils that you want to work with.
Yeah. And there's been a few extra questions come up about not receiving any work and having been on vendor panel for the last couple of months. We do have a marketing video that you could watch and have a look at and see if there's anything in there you haven't already tried. Not being approached by council in that period of time is not an issue, excuse me, that we would say was an issue. What we would definitely recommend is that you are promoting yourself to council in the first instance. So council need to know you're now on the list. As much as we go out and we tell them, we show them the new supplier list each round, show who's come aboard, it is your responsibility to market yourself and put yourself out there. Connect with council, ring up, ask who the best person is to speak to. If they ask you to send a generic inbox, do it, knowing that it will go to the right person. Council's very good at sharing the information that you do send through. But yeah, it is up to you to market. I wouldn't be discouraged because it's only been a couple of months. Definitely keep going. You're obviously doing something right because you're on vendor panel and you're there, you're watching. Another tip would be if you do receive an RFQ and you're not successful, remember that that gives you a contact name. So somebody that you can keep liaising with moving forward and, send any promotions you have with their permission, obviously. But yeah, you just have to keep going and wait. But definitely attend those industry events, have those conversations and connect and build those relationships. Checking on the council website too for the business offering that you have is a great idea too, to see if they haven't got a current incumbent that's under contract. It could be that when it becomes to training services, they might have someone under a contract for the next 12 months. So you need to watch that, be aware, diarise when that's coming up for expiry, and then look out for their new arrangement that goes out to engage the next person. So going through a few things we've been over today already, a bit of a checklist to make sure you have done this, and that is checking that your vendor panel business profile is up to date and reflects you in the best way. Add your local buy logo, and as Emma just went through, you are going to receive what we call our supplier welcome pack, which is an email with all these resources attached. Please give us a few days to get it out to you. It's a bucket of work for our marketing team to get put together and send out to you as soon as we're finished here. But it will have, like we said, that contact list, the generic contact list, but it will show you all of our buyers that are coming through local buy, all of those purchases that we showed you on the statistics. An email signature for you, our logo for you to pop on your website, on your business cards, and using your own marketing as you see fit. Feel free to pop it on LinkedIn and announce that you're now a local buy pre-qualified supplier. Tag myself and Emma in, and Jeremy, who's here with us today. And, send us a link to connect. We love getting those requests from you guys. And then, all your work will pop up. And when we're out and about, it'll pop up for you as well, so you can see what we're up to. Please do create your internal system to track your local buy work that hasn't come through vendor panel, because that won't be showing in your monthly reporting, and it is up to you to report that to us and understand those monthly reporting obligations. Also, make sure you have read that local buy code of conduct. And if you have any questions, please reach out to anyone in the team. Couple of things to remember: that if you aren't clear and you don't know, please ask the buyer, is it through the local buy arrangement? Really important that you understand those terms and conditions you are being engaged under, and if you do need to report it down the track. Promote yourself on socials and let us know, tag in with us. We'd love to hear about it. We'd love to see it. Don't forget to submit anything for the monthly newsletter you think is relevant. We'd love to see your good news story, and create yourself a marketing plan on how you're going to move forward. Use the resources that are coming out on this supplier welcome email. You'll find there's a lot of information in there that you can sort of sit down and work through and make a plan to move forward. And please don't forget to check that vendor panel homepage regularly. The primary contact is the only person that can update and make changes to your business profile. So if you are a colleague, only your primary contact on that account can make the changes, but you will all receive the RFQ alerts. So make sure you've got a little system internal as to who's going to respond to which alert at what time. Events. So we love getting out and about. We're always out traveling, attending industry events ourselves. Please jump on our event page on our website, and it will tell you where we are, what we've got happening, any webinars we've got for you to attend. Join in with us. If you've got a great story for a webinar, please let us know. We're always looking for those as well. But we do have a lot of conferences coming up, as Emma alluded. We are 26 next year, so we have a large conference in Brisbane in August.
25 next year.
25, sorry. So it's in 2026. And also we have our Southern Queensland Fleet Forum coming up for our buyers in August. We have a procurement conference in November down in Southeast Queensland as well. So our event page will give you all those details of what's happening there as well, as long as other industry events with LGAQ, our parent company, and industry bodies associated. Feedback. Emma loves getting your feedback. She loves to hear what you thought of us, what you need, what you don't like. So if you could please grab your phones and scan and give us a little bit of feedback for today, that would be fabulous. If there are any more questions, please start popping them in the Q&A section now, and we'll get them answered. We'll stay on the line and keep answering them live. I can see Emma's been typing.
I have been typing. I've been very distracted.
I
Sorry,
can see
Audrey.
that. Are there any that we should be reading out, Emma?
Yeah, there's a couple of queries about making sure that people are live in vendor panel and everything's set up properly. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we covered this off in our last session, Audrey, last month as well, is
Yeah.
we are happy to have a little check to make sure you are visible to our suppliers. So that could be a reason. There may be something in there that you haven't uploaded compliance documentation. So it
Yeah.
could be that you're not actually live and visible to our customers unless you've followed all of the three things that we talked about. You've paid your local by invoice, and you've accepted your vendor panel, and you've uploaded all of your compliance details. So please don't hesitate to reach out to Audrey or I. Send us an email if you would like us to check that your profile is live.
Yeah.
Um, I do have some things to interject. First of all, I'm going to do my little begging about feedback. Audrey is correct. I love feedback. Without your feedback, we don't know what else we can do to assist you. So, the supplier welcome session is very much designed for new suppliers who are coming on board, or new people in suppliers who've been on for a while that want to learn a little bit more about local buy. So please do give us our feedback because we can tweak this presentation to include whatever you think we haven't included enough of. So please do give us the feedback. You will be sent a copy of the what we call our supplier resources page. So that will come out with the recording and the slides. Within that will be that local buy logo. And there's also a webinar that Audrey recorded specifically about how to market your business as a local buy pre-qualified supplier. I would highly recommend that you watch that recorded webinar as well. Now,
Another point, Em, that come to mind before it loses it. As we said before, we do go out quarterly, and you do not need to reapply every quarter. You only need to reapply if the arrangement you are on is expiring, and we will send you an email and tell you that ourselves. So please don't feel you have to reapply every time we open, which the next time is August. Once you've applied, you are good for the rest of the term of the contract.
and some of our contracts, if you've come on at the beginning of a contract, you are good for potentially up to 9 years.
Yeah.
The initial term of all of our contracts is generally 3 years with 2 3-year extension options. So the contracts and arrangements used to be heaps shorter back in the day, but we've made it much easier for suppliers to, once they're on, they don't have to do anything else. They're a local buy pre-qualified supplier. They can be for up to 9 whole years. Now we're going to jump into some questions because I can see that there's been a few more come in there. However, at this juncture, I would very much encourage you and reiterate something that Audrey has said. Please join us on social media. I love a bit of LinkedIn, don't I, Auds? Like,
Yep.
it's my favorite thing. We love posting content things on LinkedIn. We do have there's 70 participants in the webinar this afternoon, and I've only had one LinkedIn request so far.
Oh
But
no.
please do. I'm not difficult to find. I've got a bright red shirt on in my LinkedIn profile, but we do post lots of really interesting information relating to local buy, new arrangements, or where we are out and about with which councils, and really important information that you may need to know as a supplier. So please do go ahead and add us both onto LinkedIn. All right, Ords,
And
hit
you
me
are
some.
welcome to come back and watch this tutorial every month. We run it monthly, regardless. So
Yep.
you're welcome to come back. If you think it's suitable for other members of your team to come that aren't here today, send them along next month. It's usually the third week of every month. We are live on here. If you are in Brisbane or going to Brisbane, it is held in person in our office on the same day in the morning. So you've got two options. Which question
Excellent.
first?
Well, go for it. I'm just scanning through. When can
Professional
I see the?
indemnity. This
Oh,
one
hang on.
comes up quite a bit.
Okay, hold on 2 seconds. Where
Mhm.
can I see the date when the contract is applicable? I can only see when it expires. If you are on the arrangement, it is open and in progress now. We don't have necessarily show the start dates, but if you are a pre-qualified supplier and you've been appointed to that particular arrangement, you'll be on there until the arrangement
Yeah. And if you
closes.
really, really want to see the beginning date, if you go to your general conditions of contract to Schedule A, the back page, it will tell you when it commenced.
James has put here about professional indemnity. Let's talk a little bit about professional indemnity because you're
Yeah.
right, Audrey, it comes up every time. So, professional indemnity insurance is only required if you are doing design work. So, if you're an architect or an engineer, or you're doing design and construction work as a building contractor, then you are required to have professional indemnity insurance. Now, we understand that professional indemnity insurance, it's not cheap. It's actually one of the most expensive insurances to have because you are potentially indemnifying yourself about making design errors, which could be catastrophic issues. So that's the reason why we require at least $2 million per occurrence of professional indemnity insurance if you are providing design, planning, architecture, engineering services. If you are not, then you do not need to hold PI insurance. However, if that arrangement that you're on requires you, it does say in your compliance details, we want to see your PI insurance certificate and you don't do design, please upload a letter on headed paper explaining to us that you do not perform design work and therefore you do not hold professional indemnity insurance.
And
Now, just,
upload that into the same spot as the insurance certificate,
yep.
and we will approve you, and then you will not get those reminders.
So what actually happens with those insurances, it doesn't go through any AI. It's actually they are viewed and checked manually by human beings in our Brisbane head office. And if your insurance numbers and policy start and finish times don't match up, then they will send you back a clarification on that. So it doesn't just go through some kind of bot. An actual human being double checks what you've put against the actual certificate and will approve or decline it if the information doesn't match up. So that's the best way to deal with professional indemnity insurance, James. If you do not require it, upload a letter on your headed paper saying that you do not require PI insurance because you do not do design work.
Okay. And if someone's profile is showing active, does that mean that they are therefore visible?
Yes, you should be visible, but I'm still happy to check for you anyway, just to make sure. The other thing that we can do in that respect then is to also have a look at your profile and make sure everything is looking really good. If we were a local buy customer and we were looking at your business profile to make sure you've included everything in there. So, James, I hope I've answered your question on there.
So, how do we know when to report? We're going to tell you. You're going to receive a few different emails from us leading up to when it's due on the 21st of each month. That is the calendar date you want to mark in the diary. The 21st of each month is the due date. If you've got everything finalized prior to that, you're welcome to go in and get it done, but you will keep receiving reminder emails
Yeah.
until that has come and gone. And then if you are
Yeah.
non-compliant.
We actually work like a month in arrears almost. So we are currently out for, we're in June now, and we are capturing May's reporting at the moment. So it's always a month behind. So for May, for all of the business that got performed through a local buy pre-qualified supplier arrangement in May, you have until the 21st of June to report that spend. So we will send you an email saying that the local buy reporting portal for whichever month we're in is open now, and you are able to pop into the reporting portal and report your spend. If you don't have spend to report and you're doing a nil, it literally takes about 5 seconds to do so. The reporting portal is really, really quick and easy. Once you've been in there once or twice, you'll be an absolute whiz at it.
Yeah. And for the same person, that the start date is from the date that you were appointed to the arrangement, and that will be showing in your appointment letter. But as has alluded to, we are a month in arrears, so you'll start receiving those requests to report in our next monthly report run.
Yep. There is a question here when it comes to upload to a request for quote. Do we have to stick to our uploaded rates on vendor panel? Audrey, if you can take this one,
Ouch!
please.
Absolutely. So the rates that you have submitted, if you were requested to, are the highest that you can charge because our buyers have gone in and had a look and viewed these. So when they're looking at your profile, your rates are attached there along with any other glossy brochures or capability statements, anything else you put up there. It's all visible to the buyer only, not the general public. So yes, they have seen those rates and those submitted rates are there for 12 months. So you can only update them every 12 months unless it's an exceptional circumstance, and then you can approach our category manager and ask them for permission to go sooner than that 12 months. But no, you cannot charge anything higher than those rates. A council may approach you and negotiate a rate lower, but that is between you and council.
Yeah, we like to call them ceiling rates. So that's the maximum amount that you can charge a council once you've nominated those rates to
Yeah,
us.
you can absolutely quote under those rates if you want to. You don't have to stick at that exact rate. You just can't go higher. So if you want to give a council a lower rate than what you submitted, absolutely go for it. That's between you and council, but that is the ceiling rate as Emma has just called it.
Someone else has said here about handling credit. So we have a finance department in Brisbane head office who look after all of the reporting. And if there are any issues with finance or credits, then that would be held dealt with by our finance team. There is a inquiry that you can do from the reporting portal. It says contact us here if you have any queries. You can just send an email or email inquiry@localbuy.net.au. And
Now,
someone here, Audrey, has asked if the vendor panel login is the same as the supplier reporting portal.
no,
It would
vendor panel
only if
is
it was that easy, hey?
vendor panel is independent to local buy. So vendor panel and local buy are not the same people. Vendor panel is the procurement platform we choose to go to market under and our councils choose to engage you under. So we have no tech assistance on the vendor panel platform. So if anything goes wrong, there is a support button there, little help widget down the bottom that you can go to. But generally, your username is your email. And then if you have used that before and you go forgot password, it'll send you a reset function. But please do note that it is independent to us and we can't provide tech support. You need to go to the tech support at vendor panel, and no, they will not be the same.
No, they'll be different. So the reporting portal, there's three different systems. We'll just reiterate the systems. The first one is the APET 360 or 360 providers, and that was the tendering portal that you've already been on to do your tender.
Yep.
Then we have vendor panel, which our councils use to issue requests for quote to you and where all of your compliance documentation sits. That's like a shop window. And then the reporting portal is unfortunately a third system, which is kind of our local buyers back-end system where you would go in to do your reporting. And if you are supposed to be the reporting contact for your organization and you are not currently, please reach out to us and we can have that fixed in our system. So
Yeah,
I
because
hope
you
that,
may find within your organization, you've got a different contact for each of these systems. So the person who's your primary contact on vendor panel handling the RFQs is not the person doing the reporting on the supplier portal. So really important that you have got yourself organized internally and everybody knows what role they're playing. We also have a primary contact within our own system as well for connecting with and giving all updates and information, especially arrangements expiring information emails that will go to the primary contact you have given us during your tender process. So if you need to check that, please go to our inquiries online area and just ask the question there. Could they check who your primary contact is? It the best person? Is it the person you want there? And who is your reporting contact? Do, do, do. Did you get the one about our emails, Em? That's
yes,
disappeared.
all done. I've just popped out our emails, so feel free to pop Audrey or I an email, but only if you've gone in and provided A, feedback to us, and B, added us on LinkedIn. Otherwise, we're not going to help. No, I'm only joking.
Yes, we will. That's mean.
Of course we will help you. That's what we are here for, is to make sure that our suppliers can maximize being a local buy pre-qualified supplier. So I've shared our email addresses with everybody now, Ord. So expect to
Thank
have
you.
a plethora of emails coming into our email boxes. Now, does anyone have any further questions? We were inundated with questions this time around, Audrey. Sometimes the audience
Yes.
is very quiet, which means we've obviously done a cracking job of
Or
going through,
confuse
and
them.
or this time around not so much. But it's awesome to see so many people attend the session this afternoon. As Audrey said, we do run these sessions once a month. So if you would like a recap and you want to come along and put yourself through the torture again, feel free to come along to our July supplier welcome session.
Or even, like we said, your team members, if you think they could benefit from listening to this information, maybe you're not the right person or you're only playing one part of the role, definitely send along your other team members as well.
So if you're after, I did send out Sean the email. Oh, no, Sean's got our email addresses in the Q&A. But if you ever want to track down anyone at Local Buy, if you go to the Local Buy website, then
Yeah.
on the About Us, it's got all of our team members listed with our photographs and our email addresses and our mobile numbers for the category managers who are the technical experts for each of our pre-qualified supplier arrangements, and of course, the engagement team who are here to help.
And you're welcome to reach out to your category manager at any time as well too. So you'll know who that is on your conditions of contract as well. It'll tell you the best person,
Yeah.
or jump on the website, but connect with them with any technical questions about what you are doing.
And I'm very pleased to see that I have had 18 people connect with me on LinkedIn. Well done, everyone. Congratulations.
My
There's
phone has
18
been
of you
popping.
getting some help.
Okay, a
And
question's come through, Emma.
mhm,
If a gov does want to commission, say, a video project, would it come as an RFQ via vendor panel direct or be an open tender?
really depends on what procurement method the council chooses to undertake. Generally, if it is over $200,000, well, they have to either go to tender or engage you through a local buy pre-qualified supplier arrangement. There's only those options available to them. But if it is a smaller size procurement, they may just choose to engage you via three quotes. Or if it's under the $15,000, they may just get a couple of quotes off a couple of producers. So it really depends on the procurement method that that particular person in the council wants to adopt for whichever procurement activity they're going out for. And
There's no harm asking.
therein lies why we, as the engagement team, are out there talking to our council officers who we work with to make sure they are aware of local buy and that they're choosing to utilise local buy to make life easier, not just for them, but also for the suppliers.
Yeah, and don't be shy in asking what process they will be using, how they will be going to market. Give them a call, start your relationship, and ask the question, how will you go to market for that role?
Yeah.
What else can I do to assist in that process as well? So
Mhm.
just shows a little bit of initiative and lets you know where to look for when it comes out. That is all the questions. That's
Awesome. Well, look at that for timing. 5 minutes to go. Now, I hope that you have been enlightened this afternoon. Thank you very much for all of the questions that came through. Or one last question.
yes.
Joe has says, will your email have marketing material for local buy that we can add to our own marketing? Yes, the local buy logo will most definitely be on there. Slap it all over the place. Put it on your website, put it on your email signatures. We love to see when suppliers are appointed to local buy, they do a little LinkedIn post and tag us in it. And then we will comment on it saying, welcome aboard, congratulations on becoming a local buy supplier. And that will go across our network as well then. So yeah, we feel free to use the local buy logo. I love having a look at a supplier's website and seeing the local buy logo on the bottom. That makes me really, really happy.
And we just got a big thank you from Vanessa for the session. You're welcome,
Oh, thank you,
Vanessa,
Vanessa. And I hope everybody
anytime.
has popped in and given us some feedback. Please do reach out, honestly. We're not just saying it, we are here to help. Reach out if you've got any questions, queries, feedback, or there was anything in there that you didn't understand.
And big thanks from Brett and Sean too.
Thanks, Sean.
And Brett.
And Brett. Thanks, Brett. I was giving Sean a thumbs up back again. Thank you
And
very
Amy.
much.
And Andrew.
Okay.
And Patricia.
Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Everybody that's still with us, have a great afternoon, and
We
thank
look
you
forward
very
to meeting
much.
you at some place somewhere within Queensland.
We most certainly do. We will most certainly will. Have a great afternoon, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.